So hi, and welcome to this interview today about trustees. My name's Caitlin, and I'm a student on placement with Dundee Volunteer and Voluntary Action, which is a large organisation that aims to ensure the third sector is resilient and sustainable. They do provide a wide range of support, including Dundee-based organisations with good governance at trustees level. So could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. So my name is Brook Marshall. I am currently the Chief Exec of Feeling Strong, which is Dundee's youth mental health charity. I think partially the reason that I'm here today is because I am a serial trustee who's addicted to governance. I think it's probably the best way to put it. I think I've been, if I'm counting right, I've been on 6 boards today. And I am, older than I'd like to admit, I'm not quite a young trustee anymore, but I have been for the vast majority of those boards. So I'm looking forward to sharing about my experiences to hopefully encourage other young people to get on boards, because it's a really worthwhile, valuable form of volunteering, and one actually that you get a lot of.
That's great. Thank you for being here. Could you tell me a bit about Feeling Strong?
So yeah, like I said, we're Dundee's youth mental health charity, and we exist to make sure that every young person between the ages of 8 and 26 who lives, works or studies in Dundee is supported to reach their full potential, whatever that looks like for them. We try and work holistically, so we work across a number of areas of work to provide wraparound support, everything from campaigns and lobbying to research and content to learning and skills to recovery and support to community and outreach. We do a whole range of work. I would list it, but we'd be here all day. Let's just say we're very busy, especially at the moment because of what's happening, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. So is this something that you've got from like your background, or did you get into this through something different?
So I became a trustee kind of by accident. I didn't realize what I was getting myself into. So in 2015, in summer of 2015, I was elected to be Abertay's student president, or the president of Abertay SA, anyway, which is the University Students Association. And at the time, I didn't realize that came along, that had 2 trustee responsibilities associated with it. Firstly, as the chair of the board of Abertay SA, and secondly, as a member of the university's governing body as well. That was something they kind of told me after, like, oh, by the way, this. Or maybe I was told and forgot, because it didn't seem like useful, relevant information at the time, and I didn't know what it meant. I didn't understand it. But then, shortly after I began my role, I kind of gained a real appreciation for it and the importance of it. It opened my eyes to how organisations actually work, and especially in terms of the role at Abertay University and on their board. I got to sit in a number of subcommittees, pretty much from the bottom all the way up. So I would see how work on the very bottom of the organisation, the bottom level, would filter up through the committees until it got to the board. I would see papers and various iterations of the process of amendments and comments. I think that was a hugely valuable experience, because it gave me quite a unique perspective, because no one else in the governing body sat on as many subcommittees, or the range of subcommittees that I did from bottom to top. So it gave me quite a unique view on the board, and I think that's something that I definitely brought. Because I've seen it from day one all the way up till it comes to the board. That was really useful. As chair of Abertay's board, it was interesting, because it was obviously it was the first time I chaired a board, and I didn't really understand or know what I was getting into. And it comes with quite a lot of responsibility, and you're ultimately responsible. I mean, you're collectively, jointly responsible with the other trustees for what goes on, but as a figurehead, you're seen to be more responsible for a lot of stuff. So like signing off accounts and making sure that you're happy with them, or whether that's working with the chief exec on a day-to-day basis, which was quite unusual, but for us, that's how it worked. Whether that's, kind of signing off the strategy and saying, yeah, we're happy with this. So it was a baptism by fire, for sure, thrown in the deep end, but I loved it. And ever since then, ever since I left those roles, I've been compulsively seeking out other trustee roles, because it's addictive, it's fun. And most importantly, I like it because it's a way of volunteering where you can give back in a way that has a very broad, wide impact. If you volunteer on the ground, let's say doing service delivery work, you have like a one-on-one connection with someone or whatever, and you have like a deep, hopefully, impact on that one person. But if you're on a board, you have a much wider, potentially more diffused impact. And I think for me, I enjoy working at that more senior level in trying to make as big a change as possible for the people who are working on the ground.
Wow, yeah, definitely. So would you say like that trustee role, like the two trustee roles, was where it all started for you, like your journey?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, again, by accident. But that was, yeah, that was the flashpoint for me that led to this, all these other board positions. So since I've been on the board of Feeling Strong, obviously, I've also been on the board of DVVA itself, Dundee Voluntary Action, speaking to you. I'm currently the convener or chair of the board, which happened very recently, actually, only last week at the AGM. And I'm also currently a trustee on the Scottish Council for Voluntary Organisations Board, which is, imagine DVVA, but Scotland-wide. That's kind of what it's like.
Wow.
Also, as a senior staff member, or as a staff member reporting to the board, I've been on the other side of it as well. I've been the one directly responsible to the boards, both at Feeling Strong and at Tayside Cancer Support as well. So at Feeling Strong, I was initially the chair and then stood down and then was appointed as a staff member by the board later. So yeah, that was the journey.
Would you like to talk about one of the organisations that you've said? They're obviously not all of them because it is a lot of work that you've done.
I'll tell you what, I'll talk about SCVO because I imagine there'll be some people who are talking about DVVA. So on the board of SCVO, essentially we represent the third sector to national bodies like the Scottish Government, Westminster Government, but also to people like the private sector and more broadly the public sector, other government agencies and stuff like that, as well as promoting a vibrant third sector in Scotland and sustaining and maintaining and all that kind of stuff. It's a really interesting board to be on, and with a lot of really unique experiences around the table in terms of the other trustees and some really high profile people who are doing incredible work at their own organizations. There's a really good skill set around that table. So I enjoy being on that board because normally we have quite robust and in-depth discussions about not just where the organization's going, but where Scotland's headed and where the sector's headed, which is, for me, quite challenging because all things considered, I am still quite early in my career, but also really hugely valuable because I get a lot out of that and I can learn from the people around me. So on that board, I also sit on one of the subcommittees as well, strategic development, which is fun, again, and has a lot of different work that it does around strategy and business development, things like that. So yeah, I've really enjoyed being on that board, and again, just to reinforce the message, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't emphasize or encourage you enough to find a board position, anyone who's listening.
Thank you so much for your time. That was great to hear about your journey and the things you've learned and throughout. It was great.
Oh, if I'm allowed to talk a wee bit more,
yeah,
I'd like to talk about, one thing I'd like to talk about is diversity on boards. So I myself, I'm queer, I'm non-binary, I'm disabled, and I have like some mental health issues. If I say some mental health issues, I have mental health issues as well. So one of the things that I'm really interested in and really like to push on all the boards that I'm on is the importance of diversity. So what you find is that boards that tend to look alike, think alike. There's a real tendency for groupthink, which is really dangerous for good governance. Good governance is about a breadth of opinions, a breadth of experiences, making sure that everyone's coming at it from different angles to make sure that you're making robust decisions that hold up to scrutiny. Ultimately, I think diversity on boards equals diversity of thought, and that's the most important thing. So I think a lot of people, when they imagine what a board member must look like, they'll imagine maybe a gentleman who's older and in a suit and has a briefcase or something like that. And largely, up until a few years ago, that tended to be true. Fun fact, there are more trustees in the UK called John than there are trustees who are young people.
Wow.
And this definition of young is under 30, not under 25 or under 26. So that just shows how much work has to be done in terms of increasing young people's representation on boards, but also gender representation on boards is really important. And BAME representation on boards is really important. Disabled representation on boards is really important because all of these groups are underrepresented and more groups are underrepresented. I think a lot of organizations unfortunately fall into this trap when they'll put out vacancies for board members. They'll ask, like, we would like to encourage candidates from X, Y, and Z backgrounds to apply. And then sometimes they'll come across a candidate who doesn't fit that criteria, but they feel is slightly more qualified. And what we'll do is they'll appoint that person and they'll say, maybe next time we'll choose the diversity candidate. But a lot of the time, that diverse candidate from that diverse background never manages to see those positions, because the next time it comes around, they'll say maybe next time. And then the time after that, they'll say maybe next time. And the cycle perpetuates, which is why there's that kind of inequality. But ultimately, it's very simple. The solution is very simple to solve these underrepresentations. Just appoint somebody from that background. Just do it. Just pull the trigger. Give them the opportunity. That's the only way in which we're ever going to be able to correct that imbalance. Because if all of these people from before who were already on boards are continuing to be given those opportunities, then of course they're going to have more experience. So at some point you have to break that cycle. So I think, yeah, for me, if anyone's on a board and wants to appoint somebody, next time, seriously consider the importance of hiring people from diverse backgrounds, because that brings that diversity of thought, which is hugely important. So yeah, that's my soapbox moment for the day.
That's definitely really important. I was shocked that the young person's class is, what was it, 30?
Under 30, yeah. So there's more trustees called John than there are trustees under 30. Mm-hmm.
And it's not under 25, it's under 30.
Yeah, that's the UK definition of young trustee. It's different here in Scotland, but that's the UK one.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. It was great to hear.
Okay, I'm happy to help. And again, just to push it, get on a board. It's important. You'll enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.